Hi grade 4s, thank you for joining me for our creative arts music lesson. So, as I've said in our English lesson, I'm going to be posting our creative arts as well as our English lessons on YouTube for a few days, just for the people who are not at school, who are not able to be at school, because I don't want anybody missing out, especially when it's so close to exams. Okay, so today we are going to be focusing on something called note value. Note value is the length of time that each note goes for. So for example, we know that we have our semibreve, which is the first note that looks like a 0. That one goes on for 4 beats. Ta, ah. We then have a minim, which goes on for 2 beats. Ta, ah. Next, we have our crotchet, which goes ta, our quaver, which goes te, and our quaver is half of a crotchet. We then have a double quaver, which is 2 quavers put together. It makes the sound tate. And when it's together, because it's half plus half, it will make 1 note. We then have our crotchet rest, which is a resting sound that goes on for 1 beat. That is usually the sound, when we make the sound, it goes sa. If I show you this piano over here, you'll see that when I click on a note, it will light up, okay? As long as I click on it, that's how long the light will stay on. So, if I'm playing a semibreve is 4 beats, which means I keep the button or keep the key in for 4 beats. So it would go ta, ah. We then have our minim, which would be ta, ah. Our crotchet, ta. Our quaver, and then our double quaver. It's a quick one. And then we have our crotchet rest. So say for example, I have 2 crotchets and then a crotchet rest and then a crotchet. It would go ta, ta, sa, ta. Okay, so that's how that would work. If I am singing, for example, I would hold my note for longer. So for a semibreve, I would go la, or la for a minim, or la for a crotchet. That is how we work with our note value. Let's move on. We've spoken about our semibreve, which has 4 beats. If I have a minim, it would be 2 beats each. So 2 beats plus 2 beats would make 4 beats. One minim on its own makes 2 beats. 2 minims together would make 4 beats, but it wouldn't become a different note. Having 2 minims next to each other would go ta, ah, ta, ah. We then have our crotchets. 4 crotchets would make 4 beats in total, because each crotchet on its own is 1 beat. So if I'm reading all 4 crotchets out loud, it would go ta, 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 ta. We then have our double quavers, which make 1 beat each. Tate, 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 tate. And finally, we have our quavers on their own. Each quaver is half a beat. So we need 8 quavers to make up 1 semibreve, which is 4 beats. So it would go te, 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 te. And that would make up our semibreve. For this quick activity, I want you to clap out the different notes. So we have green, which is going to be your crochet, like this. Orange, which is going to be your double quiver. And then red, which is going to be your crochet rest, which will just be, don't clap your hands. So let's try. Sorry, I'm going to tap on my desk as I click. So once it becomes yellow, you are going to clap. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, again. One more time. Okay, let's try another one. Let's go again. Okay, next one. Again. And then this one. Let's try it again. Good. Okay. Now, the next thing we are going to look at, and I need you to please focus on this because this is something that's going to be important for marks, right? Remember, we have creative arts, which forms a part of your life skills mark. So for life skills, you have creative arts, PSW, as well as your PT mark, PE mark. And you need to be able to understand this work in order to do well. These are easy marks if you're just focusing and you just need to remember the counts. Okay, so we remember that over here, this is called a stave. This over here is called your treble clef. This long thing with the lines is our stave, as I've just said. Over here, we have a time signature. This is something we haven't spoken about yet in class. Your time signature tells you how many beats you have in a bar. Now, on your stave, can you see how my stave is divided into different parts? Each of these parts of my stave are called bars. So this is one bar. This is a bar, this is a bar, and this is a bar. Generally, we have space, enough space to have 4 beats in our bar. So that is why the bottom part of our time signature shows a number 4. Then the top part tells us how many beats are allowed to be in our bar. So for example, in this bar over here, I am only allowed to have 2 beats. So we look at our notes, we see what we can make 2 beats out of. So can I put a semibreve there? No, I can't put a semibreve in this bar because a semibreve is 4 whole beats. So it's too much to fit in there. So I could use, maybe I could use a minim, which is 2 beats, and 2 crotchets. No, sorry, I could put a minim, which is 2 beats. That's fine. Or I could put 2 crotchets. Let's look at some examples. So I've got my minim. That's 2 beats in 1 bar. Cool. I could have, in my next bar, I can have a crotchet and a crotchet. 1 plus 1 makes 2. So that's 2 beats. So this bar is filled up and this bar is filled up. Let's see how I can fill up these 2 bars. A quiver, which way? 2 quavers together makes 1. Quiver, quiver. So remember, we have half plus half plus half plus half. That will give us 2 beats in total. We could have a double quiver. Your double quiver is 1. And your crotchet rest, which counts as 1 beat as well. So your crochet rest, you still always need to count it as 1 beat. Okay, let's look at another one. This one over here is telling us to have 3 beats in a bar. Let's see different ways that we can do this. We have a minim, which is 2, and a crochet rest, which makes 3. Our bar is filled up. Let's move on to the next bar. A double quiver, which is 1, a crochet rest, which makes 2, and a crochet, which makes 3 in total. We can then have a quiver. Those 2 quavers together make 1, a quiver, so we've got 2 beats in there so far, and a crochet. So we have 4 quavers, which makes 2 beats, plus a crochet, which makes 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Bar is filled up. Let's move on. A double quiver, and a crochet rest. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. I love how maths ends up in music. The next one, we have 4 beats in our bar. So let's see some ways that we can make 4 beats in each bar. We can now finally use our semibreve because that's 4 beats. We weren't able to use it before because it was too much. But now I put this semibreve in this bar and now I'm done. There's nothing else that I can do in this bar. I can move on to my next bar though. A double quiver, a minim, a crochet. Quiver, crochet rest, and crochet. So we have 2 quavers, which makes 1 beat, plus 1 beat, plus 1 beat, plus 1 beat. Next one. Crochet. Very basic. We've just got ta, 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 ta. Okay. Those are 4 beats in our bars. What you are going to do next is a little activity. If you've got your creative arts book, you are going to do it on your next clean page. If not, you are going to just do this on paper and we will stick it into your books. So you are going to hold your page landscape so that it is long ways, okay? You are going to fold it in half and then fold it again so that you end up with these lines that end up being long ways. You are then going to fold it in half again so that it comes down like that. Okay. Please use a ruler as well to just mark off your lines. If you are doing this in your book, you are going to fold your pages in quarters like I have here. And then you are going to just have to draw the line in the middle. Then you are going to write your time signatures on the left hand side. So 2/4, so 2 beats in your bar, 3 beats in a bar, 4 beats in a bar, and then do 3 beats in a bar again. Okay. You are going to fill in the spaces over here. So over here, imagine this is 1 bar and this is another bar. In this bar, you are going to put 2 beats. In this bar, you are going to put 2 beats. Over here, you are going to have 3 beats in your bar and 3 beats in a bar. Over here, you are going to have 4 beats in a bar and 4 beats in a bar. And over here, you are going to have, again, 3 beats in a bar and 3 beats in a bar. So you can just decide which notes you want to use as long as it makes up the correct number of beats in your bar. You don't have to worry about your stave at the moment because we're not going to work with that yet. Just use a plain simple bar and fill in your notes. We will move on to working with our stave more, but for now we are just going to fill in the notes and working with how many beats are in the bar. I think this is quite simple. If you are at home, please send me pictures of your work so that I can see that you are on the right track, or if I need to re-explain. Thank you, grade 4s. Bye.